All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. We are here post the heartbreak. At least we can laugh about it now. It still hurts. I'm not going to lie. Obviously, it hurts Ryan as well. But let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's talk about some key things. Not necessarily a match review, ladies and gentlemen, but where is it all going? Where is it all heading? Let's talk about all of that.
All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin.
Welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, my bad boy Ryan. Gonna see Ryan. How you doing?
It's a hard question. After today's heartbreak, my heart rate was up for those 11 penalties, so 20 something penalties actually. And
21, right? 21 penalties. Oh, 20,
11 by
22
2.
penalties because the last one, missed.
Yeah, but listen, I was really emotional during the match, tense. And but I finally got some time to reflect it. I actually watched over a match while I was taking a run, my treadmill. So yeah, have a
Keeping yourself
bit more
fit.
perspective.
Keeping yourself fit.
Running away from my problems. But yeah, I just keep I have a different perspective on it. I think when you watch a match first as a fan, you get really emotional, you get really angry at things, you get annoyed. But when you watch it over, then you're able to really come with a rational perspective and a balanced view. So I'm happy to be here and share that. Hopefully.
No, absolutely, man. I mean, it was a heartbreak. Look, you can say that we didn't deserve to lose, but did they deserve to lose as well? Probably not. Eunice probably said it the best in his video that both teams probably deserve to win. At the end of the day, obviously, only one can go through, and unluckily enough, after 10 apiece penalties, it came down to Kepa, and then that shot, and it shouldn't have even gone this far. Let's talk about this match. As I said, it's not really going to be a review. We just want to touch on a few aspects of the game. Let's talk about Ryan first of all. The article that you're going to publish very soon on Twitter and other publications as well. The counter-attacking nature of our game. We saw elements of that against Lille as well. Lille were very strong in possession. They pressed well, and then we counter-attacked them and we caught them out. Similarly today, well, today for me, yesterday for everyone that's watching this later on, Liverpool was trying to come at us. Of course, they had the lion's share of the ball, and we were counter-attacking. I mean, is this a element of not playing with Jorginho? Against quality oppositions, obviously. How'd you take that? Is this a new sort of way that we are looking to play? More on the counter, perhaps, not necessarily with possession, because Jorginho once again didn't start.
I think one had a reason for this. I think that recently in big games, especially with teams who play possession-based football, Chelsea tend to invite the pressure into midfield. They do it purposely, I think. I mean, you can tell this because last season you saw that we often pressed with our front three. It was ruthless. We wanted to win the ball up the field so that we could break through to the final third, right? But as of recently, we see that we kind of press with our front one, and those other two wingers sit back a little bit next to our central midfielders, kind of making like a 5-4-1. But today was really interesting. Not only with that intent, it wasn't really a 5-4-1, but instead Chelsea matched up to Liverpool with a 4-3-3 press. I don't know if you noticed, but our wing back assumed like a wide midfielder role. That role we always talk about. Our wing back get into midfield alongside our 2 6s. So we pressed in a 4-3-3, and I believe with that, the purpose was to overload that midfield and win the ball into the midfield. It had 2 reasons for this. First reason is that once you win the ball in the midfield, You see our front three, we
Yeah.
would basically have two players on the pounce ready to run in behind in that front three, right? If you
Mm.
could think about it that way. And what we do is when we win back the ball in those deep midfield areas, we can start to implement Kanti and Kovacic more as a driver of the ball in our counter attack. So before us,
Yeah.
when we used to win the ball up top, it's more like our attackers win the ball and drive with the ball. Now, when we win it in midfield, we could actually launch Kante and Kovacic. Maybe sometimes it worked, it didn't work today, but that was the intent. That when we win the ball
Mm.
in midfield areas, we could now have our attackers focusing on running in
Much like
behind.
the way we played against Lille, winning the ball
Yeah,
in midfield, driving, and then releasing the forwards.
exactly. So it really allows us to win the ball in midfield and break through with runners actually running behind. We actually share the responsibility and kind of get the most out of Kante and Kovacic potentially. It may not work, but that was the intent, I
So,
think.
do you think is that the reason why it looked like predominantly in the first half, it was way too easy for Liverpool to build up and then break into midfield? Are you suggesting that that may have been the policy to invite them to do that so we can win the ball somewhere sort of in midfield or the bit of our side of our half? Is that the policy that we were kind of looking at?
Yeah, that exactly was the policy, you could see the intent. You have to watch the intent of the front three to know what our plan is. For the
You're
past
right.
month and a half, it didn't have that intent from our front three. And it's not due to laziness. It's even in that last game where Lukaku did not play, we did not have the intent to press high. What we do is we kind of suck Liverpool and Lille in to build from wide areas. So then we could win the ball in wide midfield and launch our counter attacks.
Mm,
So if you see,
mm.
we have a release point to our press. We just don't press wild. We have a front one person pressing just out of responsibility, and then only until
Mm.
that ball enter near our half is when we pull the trigger. We snap our fingers and everybody rush like sharks. Win
Yeah,
that
yeah.
ball and then we counter. And when we win that ball, now we don't have to wait for runners to run in behind. We already have two people primed next to the center backs waiting to run in behind. Whether it's Mason, Ziyech, Kai, anybody in those last two games. And that's why I think Jorginho hasn't been playing in these matches too.
I was just gonna say, is that the reason why he's not playing lately? Because the change in policy.
I don't think it's a permanent change in policy. I think that when we play smaller, quote unquote, smaller teams, our policy will remain, our policy will remain that we are a possession based team. We may have Jorginho back. We will have, trying to break down low blocks as we know
Mm,
but we do. But in a games where it's head to head, such as competition football or against bigger teams in the Premier League, I think
yeah,
this is a tactic we could see more often. And it's something to think about going into the Champions League.
very, very well said. I was actually going to touch on that. It does it. I mean, look. Hopefully, we're going to be through against Lille, and then after that, it's going to be heavy hitters. Big teams are going to be waiting after Lille. Do you expect this is probably how we're going to be lining up, shaping up the philosophy, I suppose, whatever you want to call it? Is that how you picture Thomas Tuchel maybe angling into the latter stages of the Champions League, I suppose?
Yeah, I can see that how it will work. I think it works for us. I mean, today we should have been the match should have probably been 4-2,
It should
around
have been.
something like that.
It should have been
And
3-2. I sort of counted. They probably had two good ones. We had three clear ones.
yeah, and I mean, I think that it is a good policy in knockout football. It's back to back football, but there's some things I want to see Chelsea improve. I mean, it's okay to launch those counterattacks every now and then, but there are some points in time in the game that you have to assert control and authority. I'm not saying to keep
Yeah,
possession for 30 minutes or 20 minutes, but I'm saying there's 5 to 10 minutes in a game where you should assert a little bit of control. I think a commentator said that against Lille. They said that yes, Chelsea's getting these chances, but the back and forth nature of the game, Lille would rather it more. because chances will
100%.
come for them.
100%.
But Chelsea
100%.
wouldn't rather because we don't have control of the game. And today, even though we had those breakaways, by the chances we conceded, we could see that we didn't have control.
Bro, we had no control against Liverpool. Like, I know a lot of people out there saying Chelsea played really well. Yeah, we did. I'm not taking that away. We defended well most of the times. We countered well. We missed opportunities. But when I talk about control, when I talk about the opposition did not even sniff any of the possession or get really good chances or go behind our defense. I don't think we did that. Like, especially the first half. After the first 10 to 15 minutes, they had a lot of control. And now that you're saying, I tend to think as well, Ryan, even against Lille, there were a lot of the moments where I felt like we didn't have entire control. And I don't know, it's because of the personnel that we're using, Ryan, especially when you talk about control, you really need to focus on the midfielders and obviously, defenders building up from the back as well. And not playing Jorginho has its benefits and also disadvantages. The disadvantages with this policy that we're talking about, you cannot expect Jorginho to drive with the ball, win the ball in midfield, and then drive with the ball and release players. That's not what he can. He's going to be able to give you that. However,
Yeah,
what he can give you is perhaps that control.
no, I mean, I totally understand what you're saying about that control, but the thing is, I think it's down to intent from the whole team. It's not only about one person in Jorginho Mills.
True. True.
Because, listen, I say Chelsea wasn't in control today, but the tactics was simple, right? Liverpool implemented a wide overload, a really good wide overload with about 5 players, and Chelsea defended in a narrow 4-3-3, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That 3-3 was compact, but what it allowed was a plethora of space to open on the other side for the switch of play to happen. The thing is, with Liverpool is that space just needs to open for a split second, right?
Yeah.
1 second for them to penetrate that space.
And
Whereas
they'll
for
ping a
Chelsea,
ball. Yeah.
us fans see that space open for 2, 3, 4 seconds until Mason Mount or somebody could raise up their head and find that pass. But I want to say something, Miss. It's not only about the long passes to switch play, it's the subtle switches of play. It's like how
True.
Trent could pass it back to the CBs, and then the CBs could do a medium short pass in to
Yeah.
the left back in midfield. So it's not only making it obvious that you're going to switch play, it's catching that Chelsea overload off guard and that gap off guard and switching that play through short passes too. That's something Chelsea could really improve on as a possession-based team against
Yeah.
quote-unquote smaller teams. And next thing is that when Liverpool created their overload, they were 1v1 against our defenders. And
Always.
I
Always.
think that Chelsea did a really good job at gaining that numerical equilibrium because against teams, if they have superiority, they will kill us. What we
Yeah.
did, we got one-on-one. And I think Chelsea did really, really well one-on-one from some players. But what it also did is that, especially the wide players were able to get one-on-one with our wide CBs. This is because
Luis
our
Diaz. Luis
yeah,
Diaz was all over us.
no, because our wing backs were in midfield, right? Trying to win the
Yeah.
ball there. So now we had Chalobah going 1v1 with Sane or Diaz, which he kind of
Mm.
struggled with. But on the other end, Rudiger did good one-on-one against Salah again. This is like third, fourth time he did one-on-one with Salah again.
Yeah.
So the thing is that we are going to come across points, and I know I stressed this in past times about numerical superiority, but
Mm.
we're going to come across some points that numerical superiority is not available.
Yeah.
Because, yes, while Liverpool switched play into space, they also didn't make that their only way of attacking. And what they did is they said, okay, you're 1v1 with me in this overload. I have faith in my attackers that when they receive that ball in tight space, they're going to take you on head 1v1, face to face, beat you, and then create a chance. Whereas our players don't have that confidence to do that. We never do that.
Yeah.
And that's one of the problems that we are one dimensional. Yes,
Yeah.
we could switch play when we have possession of the ball. We could get those spaces. We also see we penetrate those spaces, but When those split-second gaps come into progress play, we don't do it. Plus, when we actually get the ball to those spaces by some miracle, our players don't have the 1v1 confidence or ability to beat those players 1v1, to take them on and get into position. And that's a thing that's really, eye-opening for us and really worrying because we have more than $200 million worth
Yeah.
of attacking players in our team. So how can none of them take on players 1v1?
No, it's absolutely well said, Ryan, man. Just to add on top of this, not only Liverpool are so drilled in the sense that as soon as they see a split second opening somewhere, they go and penetrate that. They don't necessarily always have to wait for their favorite foot. Like I've seen Trent Alexander-Arnold so many times, first time with his left foot, and he'll pass it. He's a right-footed player, but he knows I can't wait till the ball comes to my right foot. The opportunity is right there, right now, and I need to release it with my left, and he does it. Do you know what I mean?
No, you're
Um,
right. You're right.
and there's plenty of other times I've noticed other players do the same thing in Liverpool as well. They because they know by waiting for that split second for you, the ball to come to your favorite foot, that gap's gone. So these are some of the things I suppose maybe over time, I don't know, but as you said, we've got plethora of talent. For some reason, we're unable to do this. Let's talk about some of these talent now, Ryan. Let's
No,
let's
but I want
dig
to
into
ask you
this.
something, Miss, before we
Go on,
dig
bro.
into
Yep,
it.
yep,
I
yep.
want to do the first dig here, and then right, I'll do the first dig, right?
You be the digger, bro. You be the first digger.
Why is it that there's worse players in this world who are able to do these things better than our players?
That's the
Does it
question,
come
isn't
down
it?
to individual? Because Lampard always believes that it's not his job to improve someone's qualities. Yes, he could help tactically, but it's up to
Yeah.
the player to be practicing, to do that extra work, to want to be the
Mm,
best at what they do. All the top players in the world, we could talk about tactics and fancy diamonds and diagrams and this and that.
yeah.
If your player doesn't have that drive to be best and be better than their marker, as an attacker, you want to eat your marker alive. You know what I mean? That's Neymar. Everybody wants to embarrass their marker. If you're a marker and marking Neymar, or Hazard back in the day, you'd be a scared. But when you mark Pulisic or Mount or these guys, you're going to eat them alive.
Yeah.
Why? And does it come down to coaching? Does it come down to tactics? Does it come down to coaching ability to improve your players? Or does it come down to these individuals not putting in the work to improve and where they are weak?
That's such a superb question, Ryan, honestly. And it's a deep one as well. I think it's a mixture of, I don't necessarily think it's coaching because we've seen Thomas Tuchel, get the best of many players since he's come in. But Ryan, you look at a team like Brighton. They look a lot more drilled than us. They understand even with the limitations of the caliber of players that they have. For some reason, they seem to understand exactly how to carry out a situation or a tactic far better. So, what I'm trying to say is that it comes down to the individual, and I think it comes down to our tactics as well, Ryan. Playing the three at the back, the three defenders to build up, and the wing backs. I feel at times it's a bit disadvantageous to us, and this is why I really want to see next season getting rid of three defenders. Do you know what I mean? Like just have your standard two and the fullbacks. And I know that comes down to personnel and whatnot. You mentioned about us being one dimensional. I think that whole three wing backs, two in the mid, like it just makes us too one dimensional. We don't tend to have imagination. We don't have. You can tell how our build up's going to be. It's going to go from the defenders to the wing backs, come back into midfield maybe, or find the like. There is no imagination that okay, sometimes we're going to try and penetrate through the middle, or okay, we'll go through the middle, then we'll go to the wing backs, and then we'll switch a play. Like, I feel the three at the back could be an issue, and also the individuals. It's a mixture of both. I feel some of our individuals, I'm not really sure how tactically well equipped they are. You know, one of them, for example, let's say Mason Mount, Christian Pulisic, a couple of players. Yeah, they're very good players, but technical ability, you know, they're not of the caliber of your Pedris of Barcelona or Gavis of Barcelona. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
or some of the Ajax players that they have at the moment. Like,
Sounding like a guy who's on loan at Barcelona, bro.
I've been watching quite a bit of Barcelona. I want to do a lot more Barcelona watch-alongs. I mean, even Luke de Jong right now under Xavi is looking so good. Understands exactly how to penetrate the opposition with passing. I mean, would you agree with what I'm saying, or does it make sense what I'm saying? What's your thoughts?
I mean, I understand what you're saying. Tuchel has tremendously. I mean, credit needs to be given because Tuchel has tremendously improved our wing backs, our central defenders, and our sixes.
Yeah.
I think one thing that has not improved, however, is our attackers. I mean, our attackers do not know how to operate between the lines at all. They always shy away from it.
100.
I'm not even saying, yes, playing with your back towards goal is difficult, right? I understand. I mean, I don't understand because I don't play football, but professional football, but I imagine it would be difficult. But at the end of the day, it's up for these players once the ball arrived there. You are the attackers. It's up for you to own that part of the field, like a Bernardo Silva, like a De Bruyne, like a Neymar, like a Messi, okay, those are the best in the world. Okay, like a Pedri, like a Gavi, as you're saying.
Yeah.
Like these players who totally owns there. They embrace getting inside of it. When they get that ball into that area, it's like a treasure they have, not a bomb. That's what Chavi said in a video. I saw this training video. Someone received a ball and he said the ball's a treasure, not a bomb. And that's how our players, once we receive that ball between those two lines of defense, it's like hot potato. It's like these guys just panic.
It's like hot potato. Oh, what do I do? What do I do? Get rid of it.
It's like hot potato, man. Like and the thing is, okay, we say okay, that's with their back against goal. But even when they are face to face, without the back towards goal, with face towards goal, face towards marker, they still do not beat the players 1v1. They always wait to run in behind. The only way we get in behind is through runs in behind off the ball. We don't ever beat players 1v1. If we do, we run aimlessly to the flanker and cross it in. It's never we beat them and cut inside and shoot or
And then
assist.
shoot. Yeah.
And
yeah. Do you remember the classic Coutinho days for Liverpool? He'd beat a couple of players, cut in, whip, boom. How many times has he scored like that against us as well?
And the thing is like, it's one thing for a player. It seems like for the past 2 years, it seems like our attacking players do not take responsibility to do their job, which is attacking. And it's really frustrating because we have seen these players do it in other teams. So why not our team? And these guys are playing professional football at Champions League level, Europa League level. It's not that they are playing waste of time football.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
They are at a good level. If you watch different leagues, you would know that yes, Premier League has different nuances to it, but it isn't just better. It's really good football out there. And it really begs the question, what is going on? But you know what really begs the question too, Miss? Maybe some of our young players that we praise so highly just are not good enough right now.
I said this in my review that we as a fan base need to calm ourselves down because calma. Because we throw the word star boy, we throw the word generational. We are so hyped up about some of our players, and in reality, I don't think they're as good as that we think they are. Now, in my review for the final, this game, I said, players like your Pulisic, your Mason Mount, your Callum Hudson-Odoi, who didn't feature, obviously, we as a fan base hype them up so much when in essence, if you compare them across many players across the world, they're probably not there in terms of the total facet of a footballer. They're good players, don't get me wrong, they're good players, but they're not standout material the way we put it out to be. Now, is that because we're fans of the football club? That's why we want to represent the players as much as we can. We want to. It's like your child. Do you know what I mean? Like, Ryan, I know you don't have a child.
Yeah.
Like it's like my son.
I'm a child.
You're
Nah,
okay.
just
Like it's like, for example, my son. I want to hype him up as much as I can. Is it that like because. And few of the people say, "Oh, Miz, you mentioned those three. How come you're not mentioning Hakim Ziyech and Kai Havertz? Them too." But I'm specifically saying those three is because they're the ones who get hyped to the moon in our fan base. Ziyech, as soon as he drops a disaster class, watch everyone talking about how he needs to be sold. Now that he's injured and he hasn't played few matches, watch everyone start talking about how he needs to go. Watch people will start saying that. So I don't know, Ryan. It's a very good point, and this is the second point that I wanted to bring up. Like, I mean, those gilt-edged chances that we missed. Moving forward, Ryan, and since Tuchel has come in, and not just Tuchel, even during Frank Lampard times, Ryan, we cannot be operating like that. Yeah. Some people will look back and go, but Miz, we won a Champions League last season. We won the Club World Cup, Super Cup. Yeah, yes, of course. Good stuff. But I don't know how that's going to be sustainable to continuously keep winning them when players miss crazy sitters. Like, at least with our goalkeeper, Ryan, you can say Mendy, he made some big saves. Liverpool fans can't say, "Oh, but we should have scored." No, Mendy made a save, mate. With their keeper, Callagher, besides the Pulisic one, which was straight at him, he didn't even have to make a proper save. Like, it was just right at him. The two Mason Mount opportunities, they were sitters. The goalkeeper wasn't even in the sight. Like, he didn't even have to make a save. They were just missed. I mean, Ryan, surely we can't. The future cannot be like this. And I'm not advocating for Mason Mount to be sold. No, not at all. He's a fantastic player. But I'm just saying that we need finishers, man, in this football club.
Miz, what is Mason Mount's best position? Quick 30 second, because I'll answer your question after.
I think he's a midfielder, man. I think he plays better.
So you think he is a better midfielder right now, attacking 8 now than Kovacic?
Nope.
And Kante?
Nope.
So if he plays in his best position,
so what is he doing?
So
what is he doing, I suppose? Is that the question, yeah?
So if in his best position, he won't get into the team. Because whereas like Pulisic, you could say in his best position, he would get into the team.
Yeah. Yeah. As a left winger, he probably gets ahead of Timo Werner and Callum Hudson-Odoi.
Yeah. The thing is, Miz, I don't know what people mean when they say a player has potential, because it's so subjective.
By the way, Ryan, you're making me laugh today, man. You've been gold, honestly.
Today. But what means does a player have potential? Because let me don't say nothing foolish, yeah? Let me just keep it smart. Because I could say things off camera with you, but let me don't say it on camera with you.
Don't get me banned, bro. Don't get me banned.
Nah. But I don't know what biases people have, right? I'm not gonna name all of them, because people say I say it. No, I'll just leave it to your imagination so you say it, not me, right?
Mm.
But I don't know what all the different biases people have when it comes to young players, okay?
Yeah.
But let me tell you what I think is potential. So I think all players has raw materials, and then in the middle there's something called potential that could change this raw materials into an end product.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people watch raw materials and they say that is potential. But I see potential as something distinct from raw material. So for example,
So
people would
well said,
see
man.
people would see that Hudson Doy, okay, Pulisic has the raw materials of speed and dribbling,
Yeah.
right? Mason Mount has the raw materials of pressing, energy, work rate,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And yeah, I could go on and on, right? But you understand the point I'm making.
Yep.
Now I call something what could change that raw materials into the end product. I think really has to do with where you're touching right now, brain, your mind, right? That is football smarts.
Just
Yep.
realized what you just said.
Yeah, the
I'm
ability
like,
to
oh yeah.
yeah, you yeah, so it's football smarts. Your,
Yeah.
your awareness, your mindfulness of where you are on the pitch, where you need to be, right? Your how you could take in tactical information, how your understanding of the game, your awareness before you receive the ball, when you receive the ball, and when you're gonna release the ball, what you want to do
You're
with
talking about
ball.
like Kovacic sort of attributes that beyond skill set that
Yes,
maybe at times
it's
even
what
Ziyech.
is what makes his skill set count.
Yeah.
So this is not even finishing because these people can improve their finishing, this and that, right? I have no doubt about that. But the thing
Mm.
is that when I watch a young player, I watch their understanding of the game of football. They understand their position, what the team needs, not what they need to be a star boy in a 10-minute compilation on YouTube. With our players, we don't have 10 minutes of compilation. They probably be a 4 minute, it'll be a 2 minute, 20-second Twitter video because they don't have enough to be a 10-minute video on YouTube, right?
Bro, you're ruthless today, bro. You're
So
ruthless.
that's with our attackers, right? So the
Oh my
thing is,
days.
with our players, right? When I see our young players, when I see understanding of the game, I think about Reece James. That is a
Yeah.
young world class talent. Where I'll put up
Yep.
there with a Pedri. I'll put
Yep.
that up there with a Foden, right? Reece
Good
James.
understanding of the game. You're bang on. You're right, bro. You're right. Yep.
Next person who I'll put up there, I hate to say, no, I love to say it, he's my player, but a lot of people wouldn't like what I have to say. But it's my boy Pi Pavertz. You know what I mean? Kai Havertz,
Havertz is smart, boy. He is smart. And look at the
and the
chances he's
kind
created.
of passes
Big,
he
big
created
chances he
today,
created today.
in those tight spaces, the chances he created, the runs, he's always the extra man. He's always the extra man. He's
Always the
always
extra
the
man.
free man.
Always.
Sorry, the free man.
Yep.
He's always the
Yep.
free man, whether it's central midfield, wide areas, in attack, in the box. Anyway, he's always the free man. That comes with great
Mm.
understanding of the game, great ability to read the game, great mindfulness and
That's got
awareness.
nothing to do with his skill set, by the way. That's got nothing to
Yeah,
do with his
no,
able to control the ball, hold up,
nothing.
passing range. That's just smartness, where to position. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. And when I think about Mason Mount, Hud- Hudson Doy,
Christian Pulisic, Timo Werner.
Pulisic, but Werner, I don't know, he don't even have the raw materials, bro. That's the thing. At least the other guys have the raw materials. You know what I mean? With Werner, I struggle to even see the raw materials, except for running.
There's only one raw material for Timo Werner:
This
pace.
man should go in track and field. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? This man should be trained for Olympics. You know what I mean?
He should have been a 100 meter like sprinter. I swear he should have been a 100
Yeah,
meter sprinter.
yeah. But the thing is, Miz, we're all players that that's what I would consider a high potential young player, right?
Mm, mm.
But I had a real stale joke there, but I'm not gonna bust it.
Do it,
Nah,
bro. Say it.
I gotta say high potential young players. These are more like hypertension young players raising my blood pressure because um
Ah,
but on a real, I think that our players do. The good thing is most of our attacking forwards or inside forwards, whatever you want to call them, have the raw materials. But what's
mm.
worrying for me is that the Hudson Odoi has been since Conte has been here. Hudson Odoi has been around. Where has that development went? It's 2022 now.
I'm going to be honest right now, right here to the viewers and to Ryan as well. I don't think Hudson Odoi has really improved since he came back from that big injury. Yeah, he's assisted a few. He's done. I don't think his leaps and bounds improved. That's
Yeah.
just my honest opinion.
And same thing with
Like
Pulisic. He has not improved
same with
since he
Pulisic as well.
arrived at
Yeah,
Chelsea.
still has the same deficiencies.
With
Yeah.
Mount, he has been at the same level since he arrived. A good level, a decent level.
The only thing I'd say
Energy.
about Mason Mount is he's probably physically improved. Maybe he's improved
Again,
physically.
that is raw materials.
True, true. Game smartness. You're right. Pressing wise was always there. I guess you could
Yeah.
call that game smartness.
And yeah, but raw materials, yeah, he's worked on that. But when it comes to understanding the game and fulfilling that potential, and that's the thing is, there's many young players that would do raw materials miss, but
True.
only one or two actually make it to that next level. And I'm being completely honest here, as I'm removing my Chelsea hat, like Patrick Larson in his profile pictures. I'm removing my Chelsea hat, but
Patrick Larson.
yeah, but the thing is, I would honestly say if I were to build a team with young players, I would not pick the likes of Hudson Doy, Pulisic, or Mason Mount, and I name dropping them because I honestly want them to live up to their potential, to their raw materials, into potential, into the end product. But my honest gut feeling is that I've seen hundreds of players like them who did not make it. So I don't have any
Yeah.
reason right now to believe that they would become a Bernardo Silva of this world.
Oof.
You know what I mean? I have no
What's a player?
a De Bruyne of this world, a Frank Lampard of this world. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
those guys had game smartness, man. They just that's a really good concept that we've,
but
I suppose, unearthed today. Is beyond the skill set. It's like game smartness. Very well said, Ryan. Honestly.
and one would argue, well, when Drogba now came, he took some years to actually become a Drogba. We know when Lampard now came, it took some years. I understand that, but the thing is that we've reached to a point that our game is actually suffering because of these players now. Because
True.
the mature players like Rudiger,
True.
the experienced players like Rudiger, Thiago Silva, they're doing a job. Like Jorginho can't take over, so she's doing a job. Even Aspilicueta are doing a job. You realize I didn't name the other wing back. But he had a good game today. He
Come
had a
on,
good
bro.
game.
He had a really good game.
He had a
Alonso
real
had a
good
good
game.
game.
But I just can't
I thought
say
he was
that.
your boy, bro.
I can't say that general statement because of one game, right? But the thing is, but yeah, but the thing is, now our game is suffering because of these players, and I don't know. I know old, like too old. I'm only like 23, so I don't know when Lampard now came to Chelsea, right? I was playing like Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff, right? So but you tell me, did Chelsea suffer as a team because of Lampard being young or Drogba being young?
Drogba was different. He did struggle in the beginning, but from his second, third season onwards, he was fine. But the game smartness was there. The game smartness wasn't like I look back at some of our players from back in the Lampard times. Lampard, even when he was young, was very good game smartness. Joe Cole. Joe Cole was fairly young as well when he came into our team. He was extremely smart. you know, who else were young? Like Juan Mata. Juan Mata came quite young
Yeah.
in our team. He was, he beyond his skill set. He was very. Even a player like Oscar was very smart.
Hazard. I mean,
Hazard. How did I forget his name? Eden
and
Hazard,
age 21.
age 21.
The
Even
thing is,
someone like Andre Schürrle was game smart.
young players
Do you know what I
back in
mean?
the day, young players could have only come into Chelsea if they improved Chelsea. Now, young players come into Chelsea and they become a sort of liability to Chelsea.
Yeah.
Is that the right liability? Is that the correct word?
Yeah, liability. Yeah, like more like a
You know
headache.
what I mean? No, no,
Headache for Chelsea, maybe. I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah, like a liability. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Like a burden.
A burden, a burden. I think that's it. That's probably a better
Yeah.
word. Yeah.
But I'm not saying that Mason Mount is a burden to Chelsea, but I'm saying that the output of these guys, what we require them to get to the finish line, they aren't doing it. You can't take the
Yeah.
first runner in a 400-meter relay to end the race, and that's what happened. Now we need the last man with the baton to pass the
So
finish
well
line.
said, bro. So well
But the
said.
thing is, our last men, all 7 of them, are not. So it doesn't matter how well the first man around, the second man, or the third
Yeah.
man, because it all goes to shit if we don't pass the finish line. And if my mom and
So
dad
well
make it
said.
this far, I'm sorry for saying the S word. Right?
Naughty, 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 naughty. Yeah. To the Gunners family, I don't know what's happened to Ryan. He's really upset. He's really upset. But that's what Chelsea Football Club does at times.
We lost the final. We lost the final.
Oh my God. Ryan, nah, it's been a splendid, splendid conversation. We're going to end it on that. I think there's a lot that we can take in off the back of this discussion, and it's something to really think about as a fan base. You know, without going out and slandering we need to be genuine and we need to be truthful about what's going on, because this is a pattern. This isn't a one-off situation. This is a pattern where we're not, something about our attack is disjointed. Even if you look at the really good performance that we had against Lille, there were many times where we didn't finish things off. Similarly against Liverpool as well, we didn't finish things off. And this isn't just these 2 games. We've seen this throughout last season, this season, Frank Lampard's season. So it's a very good point, Ryan, you've brought up, in regards to some of our players. Are they truly, truly good enough is the biggest question. Ryan, honestly, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we actually had planned to do something around 20 minutes. We've gone up to 42 minutes. This is what happens when Ryan and I, we talk. We can just lose our time track at times, but we get a good conversation out of it. Ryan, my man, thank you so much for your time. Any last words before you go?
Yeah. No, just thanks for having me, man. I really enjoy doing these post-match specials, and if you all enjoy it, drop a like to this great channel, and I'll be here more often if you drop some more likes, right? So.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. Smash the like button. Make sure you do that right away, right now. And if you're here for the first time, subscribe and check out Ryan and his social, especially his Twitter. As you can see, at Ryan Gunners. Follow. Check out his articles. He's doing a madness in many different publications. Make sure you're tuning in on all of that. Until next time, everyone, take care and see ya.